The surgery itself wasn't dramatic. It was scheduled for a Tuesday morning in Toronto. A torn ligament in my hip that had been grinding quietly for years. The doctor called it routine. 6 weeks of limited mobility. 2 of those requiring real help, lifting, cooking. My mother insisted she would stay. "I'll take care of you," she said, as if this were an overdue opportunity to prove something maternal and uncomplicated. My sister Claire added that she'd pop in when needed. She lived 2 hours away but had a flexible job. Everyone spoke confidently. I allowed myself to believe them. I've always been the capable one. The low-maintenance daughter. The one who drives to appointments and handles paperwork without being asked. Letting someone help me felt unnatural, but I was in pain and tired of pretending I wasn't. Surgery day came, and went in a blur of antiseptic and ceiling tiles. When I woke, my mother was beside the bed, holding my hand. She looked smaller than I remembered. Softer. The first 2 days at home were tender and careful. She brought me tea, adjusted pillows, told neighbors I was being brave. I started to relax into dependency. On Thursday evening, she mentioned the ski trip. "Oh, by the way," she said, rinsing a mug, "Claire and I are still going to Whistler this weekend. It's non-refundable. We booked it months ago." I thought she was joking. "You're leaving?" "Only 5 days." She replied quickly. "You'll be fine. You're strong. You hate when people fuss over you." There it was, the familiar reframing. My independence turned into justification. Claire called that night to confirm flights. I could hear packing sounds in the background. "It's just bad timing," she said. "But you'll manage." I told myself they were right. It wasn't life-threatening surgery. I could shuffle carefully from bed to bathroom. I had pre-cooked meals in the freezer. They left Saturday morning. My mother kissed my forehead. Claire waved from the car. The house changed once the door closed. Silence thickened. The smallest tasks grew complicated. Getting dressed required planning. Showering felt like solving a puzzle with missing pieces. By day 3, I was exhausted. I called Claire mid-afternoon, trying to keep my voice neutral. "Hey," I said. "Could you maybe help me arrange grocery delivery? The app's confusing and I'm not thinking clearly." Music pulsed faintly through the phone. Lauder behind her. "Don't guilt trip me," she said, sharp but not yelling. "We're here to relax, not to serve you." There was no pause after it. No softening. I stared at the wall across from my bed. Something inside me settled, not anger, exactly recognition. "Thanks for showing me who you really are," I said. I ended the call before she could respond. The next few days were practical. I hired a post-surgery recovery nurse for short visits. I ordered groceries properly after watching 3 tutorial videos. A colleague from work dropped off extra ice packs without making it a spectacle. Every small solution rearranged something in my understanding. It wasn't that they had gone skiing. It was that they assumed I would absorb the abandonment quietly. A week later, they returned. I didn't go to the airport to pick them up. I didn't call. Instead, I booked an appointment with a solicitor downtown. Years earlier, when my father died, I'd agreed to manage certain family responsibilities. I was my mother's designated medical proxy. I managed her investment accounts because she found financial systems overwhelming. I also owned a third share of the family cottage in Muskoka, a place I rarely used but maintained legally and administratively. I had stepped into those automatically. It was what dependable daughters did. In the solicitor's office, everything felt clean and deliberate. "I'd like to formally remove myself from these positions," I said. There was paperwork, signatures, witnesses, a formal transfer of financial authority back to my mother and Claire. I also invoked a clause in the cottage agreement allowing a co-owner to request buyout or sale. It wasn't revenge. It was rebalancing. The letters went out the following week. Claire called first. "What is this?" she demanded. "You're selling the cottage." "I'm selling my share," I replied evenly. "You can buy it or agree to list the property." This is extreme. So was leaving me alone after surgery. My mother called later, her voice trembling. "We didn't think you'd take it like this." I let silence answer that. The missed calls started stacking up after the solicitor's confirmation arrived. Messages shifted in tone. "This isn't like you. We're family. Please talk to us." 3 notifications over 4 days. I read them without responding. Physical therapy began around the same time. The first day I walked across the clinic without assistance. I felt something unfamiliar, not pride, but steadiness. At night, my phone would light up on the bedside table and dim again. I stopped turning it face down. I didn't need to hide from it. Claire eventually sent a text that was almost an apology. We didn't realize how much you were carrying. That was closer to truth. They hadn't realized because I had never required them to. The cottage sold at the end of summer. The proceeds were distributed cleanly. I transferred my share into a modest investment account under my name only. My mother appointed a new financial advisor. Claire learned to manage spreadsheets. We still exchange brief messages on holidays. Nothing warm, nothing cruel, just neutral ground. I don't know if they understand that my decision wasn't about punishment. It was about consent. They chose relaxation over responsibility when I was vulnerable. I chose not to be their infrastructure anymore. Recovery from surgery took 6 weeks. Recovery from obligation took longer. But now when my phone is quiet, it's not abandonment, it's peace.